So welcome to this part 4 of the predicted paper for chemistry 0620 multiple choice questions paper 2. So we have done in part 1 question number 1 to 16, in part 2 17 to 32, and in part 3 33 to 48. Now we are in the part 4. So it is a series of parts having leading up to 100 questions. So now this part we are starting with question number 49. So let us start with question number 49. Which reaction is reversible? So the first reaction, we can see that copper is replacing nothing but what? Displacing Zn. So this is a displacement reaction. So basically when the displacement reactions are not reversible because they are reactive, that is it replaced. So therefore again it cannot go back and being replaced with the zinc. So therefore this is not a reversible reaction. The second one is a neutralization reaction. We can see that a base is reacting with an acid to form a salt. So a neutralization reaction is again not a reversible reaction. Then the part C is nothing but what? A redox reaction. So therefore redox reactions are also not a reversible reactions. So finally only that copper sulfate with 5H2O, which is hydrated copper sulfate, when you heat it out, it becomes, the water molecules will get evaporated or separated. So when you again add the water molecules, again they can get attached to the copper sulfate. So therefore option D is a reversible reaction among all A, B, C, D. Question number 50 from November 2021, paper 22, question 20 in the question paper. The equation shown represents a reaction at equilibrium. Then he says that M and N represents the balancing numbers for reactant and product respectively. A high temperature increases the concentration of Q. What is Q? Q are products. So if at all the increase in the concentration of products means obviously forward reaction is, what is this, favored. If the forward reaction is favored means it's going to be an endothermic reaction. So it is an endothermic reaction because when you are giving a heat to it, and what is this, that heat is utilized to increase the concentration of Q, means obviously forward reaction is taking place and that heat is being absorbed. A lot of heat is absorbed means it is going to be an endothermic reaction. So we can see that what is this, options A and B are totally wrong because the forward reaction is exothermic, forward reaction is exothermic. So we are left over only with C and D. Now coming to the next part, he says that a high pressure increases the concentration of Q. We know that if at all high pressure will be there, it will be, what is this, favoring a reaction which in the direction where there are less moles. So increases the concentration of Q means less moles. So obviously nothing but what, N is going to be a lesser number, because according to the Le-Chatelier's principle, a higher pressure will be favoring the reaction where there are less moles. So less moles means obviously, what is this, over here he told Q, so Q has to have less moles. So N is a less moles. So therefore M should be greater than N. So which is M is greater than N? Option C. So option D is also going to be a wrong option. Coming to the next question number 51 from June 2020, paper 21, question number 16. The equation shows the equilibrium between dinitrogen tetroxide and nitrogen dioxide. The forward reaction is endothermic. Which statement is not correct? So at the equilibrium, the concentration of reactants and products are constant. That's the definition of equilibrium. At the equilibrium, the concentration of reactants and products will be remaining constant. That's why it is called as equilibrium. So first one is correct. At equilibrium, the rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of reverse reaction. That is also correct because at equilibrium, both the forward reaction and backward reaction will be taking it simultaneously and their rates will be the same. Next, part C, when the pressure is increased, a dark brown color is seen. When the pressure is increased, so we know that when the pressure is increased, the reaction will be moving towards the direction where there are less moles. Less moles is in this case of dinitrogen tetroxide. So therefore, the reaction will be moving towards the backward reaction, which is colorless. So colorless will be more visible, but he says that dark brown is seen. So therefore, option C is going to be wrong. What about option D? When the temperature is increased, the darker brown color is seen. So we are increasing the temperature. When we are increasing the temperature, being an endothermic reaction means we are favoring the reaction, because this reaction requires more amount of heat as it is a endothermic, and we are increasing the temperature means we are favoring it, means obviously the forward reaction will take place. So forward reaction means nothing but what, brown color will be appearing. So therefore option D is also correct. Only option C is wrong option. So that's going to be the answer. Coming to the next question, question number 52 from June 2019, paper 21, question number 15. The graph shows how the yield of the product in a reversible reaction changes as the temperature and pressure is increased. So, or changed. We can see that as the pressure is increasing, the yield of the product is decreasing. So, pressure is increasing, pressure increases, the yield of the product is getting decreased, means backward reaction is being favored. So, backward reaction is favored means backward reaction will be having low number of molecules or fewer molecules, because the reaction will be favored in that direction where there will be fewer molecules if the pressure is increased. So obviously we come to know that reactants will be having fewer molecules. So which option is that reactants will be having fewer molecules? Option A or B. So option C and D are totally wrong. Now we need to know whether this is an endothermic or exothermic reaction. So for that, how can we do that one now? So we take the yield. This is the yield at a particular pressure, and we can see that at 100 degrees the yield is less, whereas if at all I'm increasing the temperature, the yield is keeping on increasing. So as the temperature increases, the products also increases. So means it is going to be an endothermic reaction, means as you are giving heat to the reactants, more number of products are formed. So it's going to be an endothermic reaction, which is option B. So option B is the answer, and option A is also wrong answer. Next, coming to the next question, it is question number 53. Now from paper 21, November 2021, question number 30. Which statement support the Haber process is correct? One of the raw materials is extracted from liquid air. Yes. So liquid air contains 78% of nitrogen. Now we take that one and do the fractional distillation and get the nitrogen, because Haber's process is nitrogen plus H2 gives rise to nothing but what? NH3. So one of the raw materials is produced is by the reaction of steam and methane. Is that correct? Yes, hydrogen is produced by the reaction of steam and methane. So the option 1 is correct. Option 2 is also correct. The catalyst for Haber's process is vanadium oxide. No, it is not the catalyst. Iron is a catalyst, but vanadium oxide is a catalyst for contact process. So therefore option 3 is wrong. So answer only 1 and 2 are correct, which is option. Coming to the next question from June 2021, paper 21, question number 29. So our question is 54. Ammonia is made by reacting nitrogen with hydrogen in the Haber's process. The equation of the process is shown. Which changes in reaction conditions would produce greater yield of ammonia? So we can see that greater yield of an ammonia. Over here 1 mole, 3 moles, and over here 2 moles. So see, 1 plus 3 is 4 moles and 2 moles. So I have a lesser moles. Means I have to increase the pressure. If I increase the pressure, obviously the reaction will be favored in the direction where there are lesser number of moles. So therefore option 2 is correct. Adding more of iron catalyst. So catalyst will not increase the what is this products, but it will increase the rate of reaction. Forward reaction and backward reaction both will increase, but it does not increase the what is this concentration or yield of ammonia. So therefore 1 is wrong. Increasing the particle size of catalyst, the same case, particle size of catalyst also will not increase the what is this the product's concentration, but rather than it will increase the rate of forward reaction and rate of backward reaction at the same time. So therefore only option 2 is correct, which is option B. Next question, question number 55 from March 2019, paper 22, question number 35. The contact process is used to make sulfuric acid. The steps are given. He's asking which sequence is correct. So contact process, let me write it out. I have already written over here. The first step is nothing but what? We heat the sulfur strongly in the air. Then we'll pass the sulfur dioxide over the vanadium oxide, phi oxide as a catalyst, and get sulfur trioxide. Once I get sulfur trioxide, I'll be adding the sulfuric acid to get oleum. Once I get oleum, and then I add it to the water. So this is a procedure. How do I be doing it out in the what is this contact process for making sulfuric acid? So first I will be heating the sulfur strongly in the air. So where is sulfur strongly in the air? 2. So option 2 is the first one. So it has to be either C or D. So option A and B are totally wrong. Now second one is that after that sulfur dioxide is passed through the vanadium oxide. So where is that one? 4. So therefore obviously option C is also wrong. So let us check whether it is correct or not. So we come to know that first sulfur is heated, then it is passed through the catalyst. Then what we do? We add the sulfuric acid to get oleum. Is that the one? Yes, that is 1. Then finally oleum is added to water, 3. So therefore option D is going to be the correct answer. So these are the steps for what is this producing sulfuric acid using contact process. Coming to the next question, question number 56, which is from November 2021, paper 21, question number 16. Iron 2 chloride reacts with chlorine gas. The equation is given below. Which of the statements? It is all asking about reducing, oxidizing, and so on. So what am I going to do it all? I am going to write down the oxidation states. So iron over here is +2 because chlorine is -1, whereas this chlorine is in the form of a molecule form, so 0. And iron is over here is +3 because chlorine is -1. So we can see that iron, what has happened? Iron has loss of electrons. Iron has loss of electrons. Loss of electrons means nothing but what? We know that acronym to remember. What is that acronym to remember? If at all it is oil rig. Oil rig. Oxidation is loss of electrons. So therefore what I can do it at, I can write it out over there is iron is getting what is this oxidized. So it has undergone oxidation. It has undergone oxidation means nothing but what? It is a reducing agent. It is a reducing agent. Now coming to chlorine. So what happened to the chlorine? We can see that chlorine from 0 to -1. It is gain of electrons. So it is gain of electrons. What is the meaning of gain of electrons? Gain of electrons means nothing but what? We know the option gain of electrons. Gain of electrons is nothing but a reduction. It has undergone reduction. It has undergone reduction means nothing but what? It is acting as an oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent. So we got all this. Now we shall read the question options. Fe+2 are reduced. So no, Fe+2 is undergone oxidation. So therefore, first option is wrong. It is not reduced, it is oxidized. Chlorine act as a reducing agent. We know that chlorine acting is as an oxidizing agent. So second option is also wrong. If first option is wrong, second option is wrong. So what all are correct now? Fe+2 ions each lose one electron. Yes, that is correct. Fe+2 loses one electron and becomes from +2 to +3. That is correct. Chlorine molecules are reduced. Yes, chlorine molecules undergo reduction and it is called as oxidizing agent. Yes, so option 3 and 4 is correct. So what are the options over here? Option A was 1 and 2. Option B was 2 and 3. Option C was 2 and 4. And option D, let me write it out over here. Option D was 3 and 4. So we can see that which option is correct. Option D, what is this? 3 and 4 is going to be the correct. Only 3 and 4 are correct. Remaining all are wrong. Coming to the next question, question number 57 from March 21, paper 22, question number 18. Magnesium reacts with copper oxide to give rise to magnesium oxide plus copper. So he's asking which is acting as an oxidizing agent. We can see that magnesium is gaining oxygen. It gains oxygen. It gains oxygen means nothing but what? It is undergoing oxidation. It is undergoing oxidation. If at all it is undergoing oxidation means it is acting as a reducing agent. So similarly, copper oxide to copper, it is losing electron. It loses oxygen, not electron. It loses oxygen. If at all it is loses oxygen means nothing but what? It is undergoing reduction. It is undergoing reduction means nothing but what? It is oxidizing agent. So oxidizing agent. So which is the oxidizing agent? Copper oxide. Option 2 is going to be the oxidizing agent. So that's going to be the answer. Coming to the next question, question number 58 from November 2020, paper 21, question number 21. The reaction between the chlorine and bromine ions are given, bromide ions are given, is a redox reaction. What is the change of oxidation state of the reducing agent? So we should know first of all which is the reducing agent. So let me write it out over here, the equation once again. So this is the equation. Now we can see that oxidation state of chlorine is going to be 0. It became -1. So 0 to -1. What is the meaning of 0 to -1? It has gain electrons. It has gain electrons means what does that mean? It has undergone reduction. Which will be undergoing reduction? Only oxidizing agent. So chlorine is an oxidizing agent, but we want reducing agent. So now what am I going to do? Bromine to bromide ion to bromine. Bromide ion to bromine. So we can see that Br minus became Br2. So what does that has become? It is what it says, it is loss of electrons. Loss of electrons. Loss of electrons is nothing but what? Oxidation. Oxidation, which will be undergoing oxidation. A reducing agent will be undergoing oxidation. So bromide ion is going to be the oxidation reducing agent. So Br minus became Br2. So from -1 it became to 0. So which option is that -1 to 0? Option B is going to be the answer. Coming to the next question, question number 59 from June 2020, paper 21, question number 17. The equations of two reactions of iodide ions are shown. Which statement is correct? So we have to check whether they are redox reactions or not. So this was -1, it became 0. So -1 to nothing but what? 0 means it has lost electrons. If at all it is lost electrons means nothing but what? It has undergone oxidation, means it is a redox reaction. So number 1 is a redox reaction, that is for sure. Number 2, I minus, it forms AgI. AgI is nothing but Ag plus I minus only. It is I minus. I minus remain as I minus. So there is no change. No change means it is not a redox reaction. So reaction 2 is not a redox reaction because there is no change in the oxidation states. So first option, both reactions are redox reactions, is wrong. Neither reaction is redox reaction is also wrong because one is a redox reaction. Only two is redox reaction is also wrong. So only the option which is correct is nothing but what? Option C. That's going to be the answer. Coming to the next question, question number 60. Which changes represents reduction? So what is the thing is, here chlorine oxidation state is 0. It became -1. 0 to -1 is nothing but what? Gain of electrons. Gain of electrons is nothing but what? Reduction. We know that gain of electrons is reduction. So we know that oil rig, G gain of electrons is nothing but what? Reduction. Now Mn7 to manganese 7 to manganese 2. Manganese 7 means +7. It became +2. Means this is also nothing but what? Gain of electrons. Gain of electrons is again nothing but what? Reduction. So option 1 is correct. Option 2 is correct. Option 3. This is +4. It became +6. Means this is nothing but what? Loss of electrons. Loss of electrons is nothing but what? Oxidation. Oil. Oxidation is loss of electrons. So this is oxidation. So only option 1 and 2 are correct, which is option A. Coming to the next question, question number 61. Which changes represents the oxidation? So this was -1, it became 0. -1 to 0 means nothing but what? Loss of electrons. Loss of electrons is going to be nothing but what? Oxidation. Now the next one is +6 to it became +3, means nothing but what? It is gain of electrons. Gain of electrons is going to be reduction. And the final one is Fe +2 to +3, which is again nothing but what? Loss of electrons. Loss of electrons is nothing but what? Oxidation. So which are the options? Only 1 and 3. What is this? These are the options which are undergoing oxidation. That's going to be the answer. Coming to the next question, question number 62 from June 2019, paper 21, question number 19. Ethanoic acid is a weak acid. We know that. Hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. Which statements are correct? Ethanoic acid molecules are partially dissociated into ions. Yes, because it is a weak acid, it is partially dissociated. If at all it is a strong acid, it would have been fully dissociated. So, but it is a weak acid, so therefore it has been done partially. Then 1 mole per dm cube of ethanoic acid have a higher pH than 1 mole per dm cube of hydrochloric acid. So ethanoic acid will be having a, what is this, weak acid. Its pH may be something around less than 7, which is 5 or 6. Because hydrochloric acid is a strong acid, its pH will be something around 1 and 2. So yes, it is higher than the hydrochloric acid. This is also correct. So 1 and 2 are correct. Ethanoic acid is always more dilute than hydrochloric acid? Not necessarily, because dilute doesn't depends upon the weak acid or strong acid criteria. It depends upon the amount of water present. So we don't know how much amount of water is present. So therefore, this dilute, it does not make sense at all. Ethanoic acid is a proton acceptor? No, all the acids are proton donors. They are not proton acceptors. So they are proton donors. So therefore, fourth option is also wrong. So only the option answer is correct is 1 and 2, which is option A. Next question, question number 63 from March 2020, paper 22, question number 19. Four different acids are dissolved in water. Which beaker contains most concentrated strong acid? What is the meaning of strong acid? If at all I have HCl, the entire HCl has been dissociated into H plus and Cl minus. no HCl will be left over. So totally it has been completely dissociated into SH plus and Cl minus. So we can see in option B, HY is still there. So option B is not possible. Option C also still we have HX. So therefore it is also not possible. So only either option A or option D is possible because there is no more what is this acid molecule. Everything has been dissociated into H plus and Z minus or H plus and W minus. So therefore either it can be option A or option D. That is for strong acid. But now I want for the most concentrated also. What do I mean by most concentrated? More number of H plus should be there. More number of H plus means we can see that in option A I have 6 H plus is there, whereas in option D I have 4 H plus ions. So obviously option A is going to be the answer. So therefore the most concentrated and a strong acid is going to be option A. That is the answer. Coming to the next question, question number 64 for March 2019, paper 22, question number 20. Barium hydroxide is an alkali. It reacts with hydrochloric acid. How does the pH of hydrochloric acid change when excess, this word is very important, excess of barium hydroxide is added? So I take hydrochloric acid over here, HCl. We know that it is a strong acid, so maybe the pH will be 1. So pH is going to be 1. So obviously, what is this? The first option 14, the second option 14 is wrong. So answer has to be either C or D. The pH increases from 1. Now what am I adding it out? I am adding the barium hydroxide. Barium hydroxide is a base. So when you are adding it out over here, so this pH from 1, it becomes neutralization reaction because you are adding acid and a base, it becomes 7. So basically, so many students will be trying to write it as 7, but that is a wrong option because you are adding excess. So keep on adding, adding, adding. So after neutralization also, you are not stopping it out. You are keeping on adding. So therefore, the pH will rise up to 14. So the option D is going to be the answer, not at constant at 7. If at all you are adding sufficient amount, then it's going to be a neutralization reaction and the pH would have been stopped at 7. But now you are adding excess of the barium hydroxide, so therefore the pH will be keep on increasing up to 14. So option D is going to be the answer. So that completes part 4 of questions. We have done 64 questions till now. It is a series of 100 questions. So the most predicted questions for the upcoming paper 2 examination of 0620 for chemistry. So see you in the next part, part 5. Bye.